I'm always thinking about psychic development and how to share it with you and how to help you understand better how to identify your gifts and access your gifts. And I came up with 7, and there's a lot more, but I stopped at 7. 7 ways that your psychic gifts show up and you are not noticing it or you are dismissing it. If you don't know me, my name is Ingrid H. Turner. I am a psychic medium and I'm a psychic development teacher. And I work with a very specific kind of energy. Okay, the people I work with tend to feel like misfits. Maybe you resonate with that term, black sheep of your family. You don't really fit in. You kind of stand out and stand apart from the crowd. And that may have been really hard for you earlier in life, but you're ready to step into your magic and understand why you have never fit in, why you've always stood out in some way. You don't have to feel weird and awkward anymore. You can step into your power and into your fucking magic. And learning your psychic skills and to trust yourself and your intuition implicitly, that is what allows you to step onto your world stage, to share your magic, whatever that is, whatever the essence of you is, to share that magic with as big an audience as you can handle. If you haven't gotten the grounding meditation, go to the link in my bio, get it for free, and start using it. And one thing that I will tell you, a lot of my students will take the grounding meditation that I give them and they will modify it. They will tweak it to work with their energy. And I love it when my students do that, because that is a powerful step in trusting what your body and your energy is telling you that you need. I have a story. Okay, this was really cool. I was in line at the bank yesterday. This is just one of the ways that I saw this like happening in real time, where this woman had a totally psychic experience with me and she didn't even know it. So I'm standing in line at the bank and I'm behind a woman, an older woman, and she kept kind of glancing at me. We kept kind of making eye contact and smiling at each other. So there was definitely like an energetic simpatico there. We just immediately liked each other. We didn't say a word to each other. There just was like some eye contact and just some very evident like, ooh, this is like one of my people. Like, this is somebody I would get along with. You know what that feels like when you are an energetic match for somebody, right? You're just like, oh yeah, this is easy. This is fun. I had to withdraw $1,700. Okay, that was the amount I had to go in and get. And in front of me, she went up to the teller and I could hear her say, I need $750. And I thought in my head, oh, that's interesting. I'm getting 1700s, 2 sevens. And then my mind just kind of went off on little sevens tangents. And then I'm listening and the teller repeats back to her, you want 750. She goes, what? And he goes, 750. She goes, oh, I thought you said 1700. And I laughed because I was like, nope, you read my thoughts. She didn't know that she'd picked up thoughts that I was having because I was just kind of marveling at the sevens, like the double sevens, right? It was really cute, but it was a fun little experience I wanted to share with you about how, you know, you have so many psychic experiences and you don't even know it. You dismiss it, push it aside, talk yourself out of it, or somebody else talked you out of it. And I'm here to help you identify it. And through identifying all the ways that you are gifted and how your gifts show up every single day in your world, learn to trust it. Learn to trust it and learn to love it. The more you lean into faith in yourself and your gifts, the stronger they come. The more evident they are, the more obvious and glaring the experiences in your life. So that's the hard part. That's my hardest job, is getting you to trust your sweet self. But we're going to get there. Keep following, keep coming back, come to my masterclass. It's going to be awesome. You may have some of these like instances in your life that we're going to talk about, these signs to tell you that you're psychic and you're probably avoiding it, right? Why do we deny our gifts? Why do we avoid it in the first place? So we're always checking with an authority. We're really conditioned to do that. But you have a direct line of guidance to spirit through your psychic senses. That's why I teach this. So we have a lot of conditioning around not trusting ourselves. Yeah, we're really conditioned out of it. Societal conditioning, it makes us fear ourselves, makes us not trust ourselves. We're afraid of being embarrassed. We're afraid of standing out. You wonderful, weird misfits, your whole life you have battled this like, I don't fit in. Do I need to try and fit in? Should I like burn it down? Like, what should I do? And what I'm saying is celebrate your individuality and your weirdness. And part of that is your intuitive gifts and how your gifts show up in the world. We get very black and white humans. That's the other thing that can really block our gifts and get us denying our gifts, is like, it doesn't fit into a bucket. Well, guess what? Spirit doesn't fit into a bucket. It's way too big. Spirit is everything. It's everything, everything that we understand and everything that we don't understand. Science and spirituality haven't completely merged yet, not because they don't fit together, but because we haven't caught up with our minds. It's too big. I feel like we'll get there. I don't feel like we're there yet. So you have to choose. Do you have faith? Do you have faith in this moment? Do you have faith in yourself or not? That's your choice. That's an individual choice every single day. And I get it. I get not trusting, questioning. I really do get it. But you choose every day. The first psychic sign is if your dreams are a fucking madhouse. And I'm talking about like crazy, vivid, colorful, insane dreams. Like you wake up exhausted and or it's just like, it's so incredibly vivid. Okay. That's a sign of clairvoyance. Okay. And you're often having those really vivid, crazy dreams. You're working out your clairvoyant gifts. You're exercising your clairvoyant gifts because you're not really using it in your waking life, or you're denying it in your waking life. I'm talking about like the crazy dreams. You know what I mean? So this can also be a sign of astral travel. Astral travel is when your astral body, which is kind of housed inside your physical body, leaves this dimension and moves elsewhere. There's also something called remote viewing, which is where you're able to project your consciousness, which is different than astral travel. Okay. Now this is all kind of under a clairvoyance umbrella, but astral travel is more intense, right? Astral travel, you're actually there. It feels like you're physically there, like you're in the physical world. It is as real as sitting here in this experience, in this physical world right now, because your whole being, your whole astral being is in another place. Okay. Remote viewing, on the other hand, you'll see it in your mind's eye. Okay. So dreaming, your clairvoyant abilities can be remote viewing. They can be prophetic. Right? And they can be astral traveling. Your dreams are going to help you understand where you're psychic. What you're experiencing in your dream state is a gift that you can experience and have mastery over in your waking state. It's up to you to let go of the conditioning, decondition yourself so that you can come into your gifts. And if you're overwhelmed by your dreams and your clairvoyance and just, whoa, the more you use it and exercise it in your waking state, the more manageable your dreams will come. You will probably still have real vivid dreams, okay? But for me, when I started using my clairvoyance a whole lot more in my waking life, I'm very clairvoyant, my dreams calm down. I don't have crazy dreams every night. When I do, but they really calm down. So it will help you calm down as well. Your dreams calm down. Number 2, you get songs stuck in your head that you haven't heard in years. I'm not talking about like the TikTok trends or what's on the radio or like something you listened to the other day. I'm talking about something you haven't heard in forever, just pops into your head with a line or a verse right when you need it, saying exactly what you need. Pay attention to those words. That is a sign of clairaudience. Okay? Clairaudience is clear hearing. It's hearing spirits. Okay? When you're having clairaudience, it can show up as songs in your head. The reason for that is because when we're shutting down our gifts, when we're ignoring them, when we're denying them, they're going to show up. They're going to come through the back door. Your gifts never go away. When you start to use your clairaudience, you'll be able to identify what you're hearing as whether it's your voice or another voice inside your head or sometimes outside your head. We'll talk about that in a minute. And you will be able to receive spirit and receive messages that way. But if you're denying it or not aware of it, it'll kind of come in a different way. And one of the things it'll do is it'll use sound bites like songs to get in. Okay, number 3. You can't handle crowds. You crawl home from an event or you go into a big old box store, grocery store like a Walmart or a Sam's Club and you're like, oh my God, you feel drained, you feel nauseous, or like if somebody's with you and they are just like having a fucking meltdown, like oh my God, you feel all the feels. You're a crybaby. Are you a crybaby? Okay. You are clairsentient or empathic. Clairsentience is feeling all the feelings. So when you're in a crowd, You're picking up all the emotions and all the energy and all the anxieties and all the stresses, and you're feeling it like it's your own. This isn't just awareness of somebody else's experience. This is experiencing somebody else's experience. So the thing about being an empath is you're going to feel it. You're going to feel it. You are the healers of the psychic world. And that is your incredible diagnostic tool. And so you need it, but you got to think of yourself like a sieve. Let it go through you, let yourself experience it, and then release it. And then you just hold space for the experience. Now you know exactly what somebody else is feeling, and you can hold mad, compassionate space for them to do their own healing work. Sign number 4. You just say shit. It pops out of your mouth. You have no idea where it came from. And the person you said it to is like blown away and telling you like, oh my God, I can't believe you just said that. That just solved all my problems, basically. You ever experience that? You ever have things pop out of your mouth? And you don't know where it came from, and it doesn't even sound like you, and you're like, I guess I'm awesome. What was that? Or like, you ever have a foreboding feeling? You know how something's going to go. Or you hear about somebody, even better, you hear somebody say somebody else's name and you know about that person. You just know whether they're a good person or not. You just know things. That is a sign of claircognizance. Claircognizance is clear knowing. And this is a challenging one to have as a primary gift because it's the hardest one to trust. Because you're like, well, I mean, at least with like clairvoyance, like you see shit, right? With clairsentience, you feel shit. With claircognizance, you just know it. And you just have to really learn to trust that. All of us have some kind of psychic gifts. Some people, like, they really have a lot of them, and some people have 1 or 2, and there's nothing wrong with that. You just use what you have, what's easy, and what's available to you. I have had some experiences with astral travel, and they were completely by accident and crazy experiences. I have not done it on purpose. Like, I haven't done it intentionally yet. It's not something I put a lot of focus on, but it is something I've done accidentally, and I was like, oh my God, it was intense, right? So astral travel, that's insane. Number 5. Sign number 5. This is talking more about spirit contact. You see faces when you close your eyes. You ever lay down in bed, close your eyes, you got a whole bunch of faces coming in, maybe making faces at you, laughing at you. What that is a sign of mediumship. The faces that you're seeing are spirits that are showing up and check in on you because you're open. Almost never when you're just randomly seeing faces in your mind's eye is there a message for somebody. Usually they're just like popping in, like kind of swooping in and dive bombing you because it's like, oh, she's open and just checking it, or he's open and just checking it in and then bailing out. So it's nothing to worry about. It's nothing to be scared of. You might see faces when you close your eyes at night. You probably see faces in your mind when you're going about your day, but you're so used to it, you just push them aside. Okay, I find that I'll get faces and spirit visitations like when I'm focusing and working on something. All of a sudden I'll get like a sense of somebody in my mind, especially when I'm in a new location. I'll get all kinds of fun stuff. So mediumship is anything that any being that was in a body in this physical world. So it'll be humans, animals. So colors and shapes are more about that's about clairvoyance. Okay. Pay attention to the colors. How do you relate to colors? What do the colors make you feel like? For me, color language is also related to the chakras. So a lot of times people see geometric shapes. That's about really peering into the underpinnings of creation, because what we have is built on mathematics, on sacred geometry. And when you're seeing those geometric shapes and those colors, you're piercing into underneath the matrix, so to speak, into how it's all put together. Okay, number 6, sign you might be a psychic bitch. You hear voices. Like randomly, when you're in bed, just going to sleep, you might hear a voice outside your head, outside of you. Or if you're like doing dishes or wherever, just at random times, you hear a voice. It might be your name. It might be a word. It might be a couple of voices having a conversation. That's a sign of clairaudient mediumship. You're hearing spirits. Okay. Again, same thing with the faces. It doesn't necessarily mean anything. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're coming to talk to you. It's like ambient noise. You're hearing it. A lot of times with our gifts, especially with mediumship, you can just be doing your thing and get a hit, a sense of a spirit. but they're not necessarily there for you or for anyone else. You're just aware of it. It's kind of like when you're out and about and you're aware of other people, or you overhear, two people having a conversation, or you hear somebody say somebody's name. It's just noise, but it's just peripheral, right? So you don't have to worry about it. Don't freak yourself out about it. It's really not a big deal, but it's very, very cool that you have those gifts. Isn't that yummy? And remember, everybody's psychic. So you're going to be surprised how many people share these experiences with you. And we're talked out of it. We're talked out of trusting ourselves. We're talked out of our faith. We're talked out of the mysticism. But it's here and it's real and it's valid and it's your experience, and you're going to be feeling and experiencing, you're going to be meeting other people who have that experience now that we're actually talking about it. Okay, now that we're actually bringing it out into the open. Okay, finally, numero 70. You see figures out of the corner of your eyes. Has that ever happened to you? You swear to God you see somebody and then you look and they're gone? That is a sign of physical mediumship. Here's what a physical medium does. A physical medium has the ability to make spirit corporeal. So, these are usually ghosts that you're seeing, and ghosts are a continuation of the human experience without a physical body. So they're not physical. So when you see them out of the corner of your eye, your energy is contributing to them being somewhat physical. They'll never be as physical as you and I. They don't have a physical body, but physical enough so that you can see them and sense them. Ghosts are harmless for the most part, by the way. They don't have a lot of power in the physical world because they don't have a physical body. In fact, most ghosts are just uncomfortable. They're lonely. They're curious. They're needing to move on to the other side, and they're not ready for whatever reason. They're having their experience, and they really can't hurt you. Okay, not unless you give that power to them. And most of them don't want to because they're people. Most people are not bad people. Most ghosts are not bad ghosts. Those are the 7 signs. There's more, but those are the first 7 signs that I came up with that you are experiencing your psychic gifts and you don't even know that it's happening. Okay, 7 signs that you're psychic. Has that been helpful to you? Because you guys, you're amazing, and I want you to fucking know it, and I want you to live it and embody it because you have things to share with the world. You have things to share with me. I really love teaching this. Let me tell you why I love teaching this. Okay, I'm going to give you an example from my own life to help illustrate why I think it's so important that we learn this for ourselves. I had a dentist appointment yesterday. I have to get an implant. All right, I'm not thrilled about it. I don't like dentists. Anybody else have dental phobia? Oh my God. So I have to go get an implant. I have to go get a tooth implant. And I've known I need to do it for a while. So I've been mentally preparing myself for it. And I'm a full-time traveler. I'm nomadic. So I had to travel to do it. And it's been on my calendar for a while. And I'm driving there and I get to where I need to get to. And I started to feel really, really resistant to it. And it was hard to get to the appointment. It was like, I felt like I was getting blocked every step of the way. It was so hard to get to my appointment. And I was feeling all this angst and tension in my body. And I'm going, what is this? I knew I was scared of the dentist. So at first I thought, well, you're just having a bunch of fear come up, Ingrid. Because here's the best part, is my front tooth that needs an implant, right? So it's like a whole thing. Like it's a whole thing I'm going through, like a whole shame, self-worth thing. Like it's fine. I finally said to my partner, I was like, I don't want to do my dental appointment today. And when I decided in that moment, when I admitted to myself, I don't want to do my appointment today, all the tension went out of my body and I felt a huge wave of relief. And my partner, God love him, he's like, okay, I guess we'll hang out till Monday when you want to do it. I was like, yeah, I want to reschedule it till Monday. So I rescheduled it till Monday. So then we kind of bombed around a little bit for the day. Here's why that was important for me to listen to. I started to get a little cold sore last night. Okay, now if anybody gets cold sores, you know that when you're aggravated or there's stuff going on with your mouth, it will make your cold sore really, really, really bad. But what I can do is if it's real small, I can just get on top of it and take care of it really quickly. But if I had gone into the dentist to get this implant done and had all them wrenching on my mouth and stuff, it would have made my cold sore really bad and really painful, right? And it's not that this was a be all end all. I could have muscled through it and gone through the experience and it wouldn't have been bad or wrong. But because I listened to my intuition and my body, even though it was inconvenient for me, for my partner, we don't want to be here. We want to be moving on and get this over with. But I just listened to it Okay. It would have been really gnarly for me. And so now I get to take the weekend, work with my medicine and my intuition and my immune system, get my cold sore under control, and then go back to the dentist without any of this going on. It's also contagious, so no dentist wants to work on your mouth, right, when you have a cold sore. And all because I listened to my body and went, nope, doesn't feel right today. And I'm able to do that because I trust myself fucking implicitly. I don't have as much of the conditioning telling me that I made a commitment, I have to do it, I should check with someone, right? And that's what I want for you. I just want your life to be easier. When you get serious about your psychic development and when you learn to trust yourself and you just fall into surrender and trust of yourself and your connection to divine source energy in this moment, you get to have experiences that are like, oh, that could have sucked, but it didn't. So now we're going to go off somewhere this weekend and like, I don't know, go see something cool and then come back. I'll do this awful procedure. Please send me love and energy. Oh God, I don't want to do this, but it's got to be done. Send me love. And yeah, like little miracles over and over every single day. Life becomes a string of synchronicities and it is fucking delightful. That's an example I like to use of like why it's so beautiful and important to come home to yourself. And for me, psychic development is the pathway to sovereignty. And I know it can be for you too. Okay, question time. I dreamt my ex-boyfriend is gay. What does that mean, please? I'm not really a dream interpreter. I always say pay attention to how your dreams feel as opposed to what is literally going on in your dreams, because dreamland is a crazy land. Okay. Like it's not, mine are not usually literal. Like some people have very literal prophetic dreams. I don't. So do you generally have literal and prophetic dreams or not? And you can kind of go, how does it feel for you? How can I contact my dad in dreams here past? That's a great question, Millie. So before you go to sleep, set your intention. Say a prayer and ask your dad to show up for you in your dream state, and he will show up for you. Instead of like, there's an energetic difference. There's a like, please show up, please show up, please show up. How do I get him? You feel the tension there? And there's dropping into your heart and saying, Dad, please show up. And then letting it go and allowing him to come however he needs to come when he needs to come. Have you ever experienced a physical attack? I was driving once and my seat felt kicking in back. I have not experienced a physical attack, but I have experienced physical experiences from spirits, like feel them on my body. One time I was laying in bed and I watched a woman, a ghost, walk into my bedroom and lay down in the bed next to me. And I said, nope, boundaries, get out. And she did. She got out and she never came back. Here's what you got to know about ghosts. They can't read your thoughts. You have to verbally tell them what to do and to go away. And they will listen to you. They will go away. The thing about ghosts, entities, that kind of thing is you have to conquer your fear. Your fear is what trips you up. You have to find a way to conquer your fear. I'm going to do an episode soon about entities and psychic attacks, that kind of a thing. So keep coming back to the Mystic Bitch shows. We're going to talk about that more. We're going to talk about conquering, overcoming your fear so that you can be in command and control. Nothing non-physical has any real power in the physical world unless we give it away to them through our fear. And it can, I know it can be really hard to conquer your fear at 3 o'clock in the morning. You're getting woken up. Like I get that, but we're going to talk about that. So keep coming back and we'll talk more about this. How do you improve your use of clairaudience? This is going to be a boring answer, but it is the best answer. If you are naturally clairaudient, then just trust it. What you want to do is identify what gifts you're strongest in and then just rely on those. That's your low-hanging fruit. When you do that, all of your gifts will naturally start to improve more and more and more as you trust it. Any tips for creating a space you envision to meet spirit? If you want to create a physical space, create a space that brings you peace. What keeps spirit away and out of contact is our own mind, our anxiety, our fears, our worries, all that stuff. So if you can cultivate a space of peace, breath, meditation, a sacred space, that's going to really help you connect with spirit in the way that spirit wants to connect with you. Also try and let go of how you need spirit to connect, whether you need to hear it or see it or what have you. Allow spirit to show up however it needs and wants to show up for you. Do you have experience with ET contacts? I do. Let me tell you a story. The first experience I had with ET Wow, it was amazing. I was on a woman's table and she was using tuning forks on me, and there was some music playing. As I was laying on the table, I was listening to the music and I began to sense communication happening over the sound waves. It's the only way that I could describe it. My eyes were closed and I started to see visions. And the first thing that I saw, like I was having this, like, I knew that there was extraterrestrials there. I knew it for a fact. And they were communicating with me. And I saw this spacecraft flying over the earth. And what I heard was it was 100,000 years before humans arrived on Earth. And I said, why were you here before we were here? And then I saw this image of a golden Buddha. And they said, and then at a figure, an alien with really long fingers, held out a white orb. And they said, because we knew the Buddha was coming. And the knowing that I had when he said that was all of humanity has the Buddha inside them. We're very, very special in this universe. Our evolution, our expansion is critical to the expansion of the whole universe. Like Earth and humanity is really special because we have this Buddha inside of us, which is a very special essence of some kind. That was my ET experience. I don't have any other real ET experiences. I've never been abducted or anything like that. But I do know people who have those experiences. So it's a very real thing. And there are ETs can be like extraterrestrials. There's also extra dimensionals that I've come into contact with. Ascended masters, I put into that category of extra dimensionals, like Krishna, Jesus, Buddha, that kind of a thing. How do you use your clairvoyance daily? Spirit is riding your imagination. When you're clairvoyant, it's your imagination. Spirit is using your imagination. I would start a hit list, okay? When you see things in your mind's eye, write it down and then give it time to reveal what it means. How do I break the voices apart and only focus on one at a time? Sounds like a large crowd. Oh, okay. So you got a lot coming in. Meditation is really going to help. If you don't have a meditation practice, you can start with my grounding meditation. You can get that free from the link in my bio. Put into practice a meditation that helps you calm your mind, center your mind, and then just relax and allow it to be chaotic and allow it to come together as it needs to. Patience, okay? Patience. The more impatient we are with this, the harder it is to connect. Just be patient and allow it to come in the way that it needs to come. What does it mean when I'm in a dream state? I'm in someone else's body in some place and time. So let me explain it this way. You and I are here having this conversation and it's going a certain way. In another drop of time, at the same time, we're having the same conversation, but it's going slightly different, giving both of us a slightly different experience. And this continues out so that we have every possible permutation of this body, this experience, this lifetime. But it's all happening at the same time in different drops of time. That's what memory is. Memory is traveling to another drop of time because the only reality, the only thing that's real for us right now is this present moment. That's why eyewitness testimony is so unreliable, because you're traveling. You're like remote viewing. You're projecting your consciousness to another drop of time that's happening at the same time. And it might be a different permutation of what is happening. So when you're in your dream state, you're likely experiencing another lifetime. What you were experiencing in another lifetime, you're traveling into a whole different body, a whole different experience, and then coming back, when you wake up. Nothing to be afraid of. In fact, you may be able to get some really juicy stuff to aid you in this lifetime if that's what you're experiencing in your dream state. I get like premonition dreams that happen every few weeks to months later. What is it? So premonition dreams are a sign of clairvoyance because you're dreaming, and claircognizance, which is clear knowing. You just know shit. I felt something bad would happen medically in my flight this weekend, then it did, and it scared me. Okay, so first of all, get your fear under control. There's no need to be afraid because you got the hit, you knew what happened. Next time you have that feeling and that hit, you're going to trust yourself, right? You're going to trust yourself and you're going to go, no, I'm not going to go. I'm not going to do that. Or I'm going to do this instead. I'm not going to continue down that path because my body, my being, my intuition is telling me that something is going to happen that is not going to work for me. Same thing that happened with this dental experience, this little cold sore I got. If I had not listened, I would have had a miserable time of it, right? It didn't have to scare me, and it doesn't have to scare you. Your knowing doesn't need to be scary. It's only scary because you've been conditioned out of it. That's conditioning. It's not real. Ask yourself this question: how much of this fear is mine? Give it a percentage. Get rid of what's not yours. It's conditioning. It's not real. I know I have dreams with messages, but I can never recall them. I've had 2 brain surgeries. Help. My hit for you, darling, is to tap into your feelings in your body, then try and run your brain through what's happening. Okay. If you've had brain surgeries and you're finding that you mentally have to kind of like exert yourself more in general, disconnect the brain, go into your heart and your feelings, okay? And also write them down right when you wake up. That will really help. Don't try to remember them, write it down. I turned off my clairaudience as a kid and I don't know how to turn it back on. You didn't turn it off, it morphed, okay? So start to slow yourself down, slow your mind down, start to pay attention to the feel of your thoughts, okay? Thoughts that come from you tend to be I-centered. Human thoughts tend to be I-centered, self-centered, critical, judgy. And the reason for this is because our thoughts are always coming from our brain. And the brain is not a happy making machine, it's a survival machine, right? So it's going to be negative cataloging. But clairaudience is from spirit. It's going to be you focused, it's going to be directive, it's going to be kind, it's going to be benevolent. It might have a different voice to it, a different tone to it, but you likely are not noticing the difference between your own thoughts and the voice of spirit. So slow yourself down and start to pay attention to your thoughts. And don't judge yourself for icky thoughts, like judgy thoughts. It's like all of us do it, okay? We have a choice whether to buy into that nonsense that the brain is telling us or whether we're going to carry on. Thank you so much. I love you. I adore you. See you soon.